All right, okay. All right, let's see now. Capricorn, this is for you. We are here at Terra Illumination. This is a playlist for North Node in Leo, the big transit coming May 2017 all the way to late 2018. So this is a long, long transit, and it's going to affect all of us because we're all on the same epic evolutionary journey. The North Node is the group collective journey that we are all on together. It's like being on a big tour bus, okay? And we're all hanging out together. And Capricorn, you've got your seat on the bus too, but you're hanging out with the rest of us. Please, Capricorn, please, before we get into this, it might help to watch the preview, the all signs preview for North Node in Leo. This particular video, the video that's like the 13th video for everybody, it's long and it tells you sort of more in depth about what's actually going on. But here in your reading, we're going to focus on how it's working for you in particular. Okay? So also don't forget to watch for your moon sign and your rising sign because they could be different. And it will all add into the fuller understanding of this journey because it really is a journey, okay? Going from where we are now, stuck in our evolutionary status quo, and moving forward in life with the rest of us on the bus to where we need to go, to where we need to evolve, okay? Which means, by definition, where we've never been before. Okay, so for a lot of people, that's scary. Going into the unknown, it takes a lot of courage, okay? Now, with the Leo North Node for everybody, we're all of us going to be called upon to be our brightest, shiniest, most creative and proud and amazing selves, you know? It's almost like turning yourself into an actor or a rock star or a performer or a prize athlete or something where you shamelessly and proudly radiate who you are. Now, we're not talking vanity, ego, or narcissism here. We're just talking about true celebration of the self, as innocent as a child, okay? So when you're happy and you celebrate with everybody. And when you're sad, and people cry with you. But guess what? It all works out, and you start all over again. It's like being in an amazing playground where everybody gets to be a kid again and hang out and have fun, like the old-fashioned way, you know? We're going to get dirty. It's going to get messy, but it's fun. And this is not time to be shy. This is not time to like hold on to rigid ways of being from the past, okay? The Aquarius-Leo axis is very rigid because you're dealing with fixed signs. So with the South Node energy, you're dealing with the South Node in Aquarius, you're dealing with having deeply ingrained behavior patterns where people have been like basically dissolving their ego into the group for the sake of the group, which is very, very noble, and that's wonderful. But you lose your sense of self if you take it too far, and you kind of like end up resentful, okay? Like, who am I? I forgot. Oh, I've been doing all this good stuff for the sake of the group and the sake of humanity and what's best for all of us, but in so doing, I've lost myself. Well, guess what? This is the chance to regroup and find yourself, dear Capricorn, because we're all doing the same thing in our own way in different parts of our life. Now, for you, dear Capricorn, this epic journey, this evolutionary pathway to become your bold, bright, radiant, rock star type self with creative self-expression and being fun and being happy and having fun, it's happening in your 8th house, okay? While the South Node is over there in your 2nd house. So in your epic journey forward, it's going to propel you, what you might call the energy of heaven or fate or whatever you want to call it, is going to be pulling you further and further towards the 8th house type energy, which might feel very alien to you, okay? 8th house energy is very, very much to do with deep, deep, deep intimacy, shared resources, complete and utter soul merger with another, to the point where it's almost where you get so shit scared that you're dissolving into the other person, and the other person is dissolving into you. It's very, very almost sexual in its experience when it's done right, okay? This isn't, I'm not trying to trivialize this reading here, but that's what happens in sacred union. You literally merge, one soul merges with another, and it's very ecstatic. It's actually a form of ecstatic healing that we can provide for ourselves and each other. But it takes intense boldness and creativity and risk to be able to get that close, to get that involved with another, okay? This is, in other words, you can be dating. You can have boyfriends and girlfriends, and that's cool. Or you can get engaged and get married and then have houses and cars and families, and that's really, really cool. But you might never be intimate. It's once you've become really, really close and you've made the decision to get close together, what happens then is intimacy. That's when you actually go into the deep bonding. And a lot of people are scared shitless of that stuff, okay? They want everything but that. They want all the, you know, all the trimmings, everything that seems to go with it, like the right boyfriend, the right family, the right home, the right car, the right job, and all of that, but just don't get too close. You know, I don't know, I don't want to go that far, because I'm happy the way I like things to be the way they are. So that's going to be a struggle, because if you hold on too rigidly to the past, which would be a very rigid approach, like, you know, it was your duty in the past to dissolve your ego for the sake of the community, and all your values and wealth would have been associated with the community. It's like being very deeply involved with a very, very old church-type structure that has worked very well for a long time, but it kind of got corrupted and decayed to the point where it's all about the money, okay? You might be preaching humanity this and saving that and what's best for the world, but in the end it's all about how much money are we going to get into the coffers this week, people? We need to fill it all up. And in order to feel like you belong, when you arrive here, you have to be in your best clothes with the most expensive car you can imagine, and everyone else is going to be like that. And if you don't fit in, then there's something wrong with you, okay? Now that's not cool. That's like being grossly over-attached to things and money and security and a very limited sense of power, okay? Because there's an awful lot more going on than materialism and lust and food and money and houses and cars and beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff is wonderful, but if you take it too far, and it becomes your sole motive for existence, and that's how you value yourself. In other words, if you don't have the right car, the right spouse, the right boyfriend, the right girlfriend, then there's something really wrong. Well, that's very, very, very narrow thinking. There's a whole other way to relate where real power is not vested in just material stuff. It's vested in our souls. It's in the deep intimacy of sharing our resources with others who we trust and others who trust us. But moving from that south node to that north node could be very traumatic, okay? Literally to the point where the power, the issues of power, the struggles of power, all the power and energy that was needed to rise up and create earthly stability just purely through material means becomes redundant, and where there might have been extreme abuse of power in order to get that security. And now the inverse is happening, where you could be on the receiving end of abuse to give you a wake-up call to see what happens when power is abused for inappropriate reasons, okay? And so that can be very difficult energy for anybody to handle. So we would naturally want to avoid that. But sometimes it's the only way we learn things, okay, is through deep challenges, almost to the point of trauma, deep trauma, all right? When you're going into the 8th house, people, it's like the scary place. A lot of people are scared of 8th house energy because it is the energy of raw power, which becomes very evident when the soul becomes bare. And you bear that soul with another, and there's nothing else out there except soul energy. You know, we're not talking about anything else, just raw soul energy. And, you know, through the process of reflection, if something's not pretty, and that's getting reflected back to you because of redundant South Node energy, it can be really scary. In other words, like going into the 8th house is like dying before you die. In other words, you're going to end up, it's almost like getting crushed, literally crushed, in order to get the message that unless you're willing to be intimate and share with others at the most profound level, then it doesn't matter how much money you've got. Your life ends up being hollow. Amen. How many cars can you fit in your coffin? How many diamond rings can you stuff in your pockets before you go? I mean, it's stupid, right? So anyway, I don't want to scare you, Capricorn. On your epic journey, you're going to be able to shine and radiate in the 8th house. In other words, if you're going to have to go into the realms of intimacy and deep sharing and bearing your soul and mind and body with another, and it might feel very traumatic for you, that's actually the way you need to go, because you will transform out of this and get a much more delicious, much more succulent taste of what real power is like, okay? So, because we're all here for each other, and once you discover what that is and how it feels, and you live through it in very dramatic, very intense ways, which might be very frightening, you will eventually learn and discover stuff that a lot of us really don't know. And so we're going to be asking you to tell us in very, very colorful, vivid, self-expressive, creative ways about what it's like. What is it like to go into the world of deep intimacy, of merging your soul with another? Please, please tell us, Capricorn, because that's the journey where you're heading, okay? It's scary, I know, but we're here with you. Don't worry, we're all in the same bus. All right, so Capricorn, don't forget, read for your moon, read for your rising, read for the generic all signs, North Node and Leo for everybody to get the bigger picture. All right, we're going to cut it now and get on with your reading. Sorry, I've been really carried away there. What was I doing? Okay, we're just cutting. All right, okay. I got distracted for a fraction of a second there. So, Capricorn, let's keep it simple. Let's treat this as the South Node type energy, where you're coming from. There's a lot of redundant energy here, but there's also a lot of treasure, okay? Because you've been doing this and behaving like this a long time. And so bring the good stuff with you, but acknowledge the stuff that isn't happening anymore, all right? That's part of the journey. What are you going to let go of, and what are you going to develop? So through the journey, you're always going to be in a state of awareness, heightened awareness and presence, the never-ending present moment as you go through the journey, okay? Along with the rest of us, all right? So that's that. That's the present, the ever-continuous present. Here are the challenges that you might be facing on this epic journey. And here's hopefully a way that we're going to deal with it, all right? So you're not alone, Capricorn, okay? There are others with you on the same journey. And it might be really scary when you get to that energy of intimacy and you discover what real power is all about. Seriously, okay? So where is it all coming from? Where are you all coming from? Okay. This doesn't surprise me. When you focus heavily on money, work, business, security, the only thing that counts is money, my stuff, my things, my work, my job, my career, my security. And I'm doing it all for a very, very good purpose. Because I care about humanity. That's wonderful, okay? But it's kind of redundant, okay? This is very, very noble. Thank you, Capricorn. I know you mean well. We all know that you mean well. But there's a whole new journey lying ahead, which may be absolutely nothing to do with money. It's much more to do with power. I know money and power are very, very closely associated, but there is a difference, okay? Let's have a look. So what's going on in the ever-present moment? Okay. This is a pretty obvious one. It's like literally being addicted to money and stuff and things, sex, alcohol, drugs, nice stuff, having nice things, having money, being in control, being safe, being secure, being part of a community that seems to have structure and stability, all based on money and pre-established but highly redundant and crumbling paradigms, okay? So this is going to be an ongoing challenge for you. If this is the energy that's with you in your present as you go through the journey, every little step on the way, month by month, like week by week, month by month, as you go through the journey, this is going to be with you apparently for pretty much the whole way. And this is the struggle of being deeply, deeply, deeply attached and passionately, lustfully attached to sex and money and beauty and all of those highly delicious and tangible three-dimensional aspects of life that we all want, okay? There's no shame in that. But when you get addicted to the point where it's like maniacally obsessive, if you don't have the right car, the right job, the right husband, the right wife, the right boyfriend, the right girlfriend, and buckets of money, then you're obviously a nobody. Even if you're doing it in the cause of wonderful humanitarian reasons, okay? So this is a problem, all right, Capricorn? Some people call this your card anyway, okay? And I don't understand why, but well, I sort of do, but I don't think that's relevant here right now. I think we're dealing with raw energy, raw power, but it's almost like power out of control. It's turned into lust for power and the addiction to power and money, all right? So it's like literally like a junkie. It's like a junkie fighting off their addiction for safety and security and money and lust in a pre-established system that is very, very rigid and essentially becoming obsolete, okay? So this is tough energy to handle, Capricorn. I mean, we're dealing with 8th house here, so it's very much to do with power. Huge amounts of power and energy that might be very difficult to understand and manage and handle. It's very, very transformative. It might feel very, very, very uncomfortable to have to slowly, even gently disconnect yourself from these highly, highly, highly addictive needs and behaviors and activities that are already deeply established, okay, to this physical world. You know, even if it's painkillers, even if it's alcohol, or whatever it is, that is a very, very tangible substance that helps you find security, okay? This is all redundant. So what's the challenge in doing this? Okay, we had this somewhere else earlier. The challenge is in kind of facing the situation, facing the whole concept that there's no escape here. There is no escape. And letting go and letting God, as they call it, literally surrendering yourself to the evolutionary process is absolutely terrifying. Because from my perspective as a reader, what I notice from here is that one thing that terrifies people almost more than anything is intimacy. Okay? It's the coming together of souls, even the most well-meaning souls, in deliciously creative ways, which is where we're supposed to be headed, having come from a very detached, intellectual, logical way of functioning, which again makes sense, but coming together in true intimacy where you literally are trusting your soul to another soul, and that other soul is trusting their energy to your soul, that can be profoundly terrifying to the point where I refuse to go there. I absolutely refuse to go there because guess what? I already know what works, people. So why mess with that? The mess with that is because you're missing out on so much of life. You're missing out on what really counts. And what really counts will only occur through this evolutionary journey where you will get complete redemption, complete reconciliation for all the stuff that isn't working, the baggage you might be carrying from the past, the misunderstandings, the misbeliefs, all of that It's all forgiven, okay? But it does mean that you have to evolve, which means you literally have to, it's almost like getting stripped down naked, like the rest of us in the bus, okay? Like, we're all like this. And you're saying to us, like, well, I'm not going there. I need my clothes on. I need to have my, I need to have my most expensive watch on, and I need the best clothes and the best shoes and the best jewelry, because I'm not getting on the bus and hanging out with you guys, a bunch of like nudists. That's freaky weird. I do things my way and it works, okay? And I'm not ashamed of my addictions to money and stuff, okay? That's not going to work. It's not going to work, Capricorn. It's going to, either way, the transformational energy is coming, and it'll be a smoother ride if you literally just get over yourself and surrender to the journey like everyone else, and understand that there is salvation, there is redemption, there is reconciliation, there is forgiveness, there is a new life ahead. And we're all heading there on the same bus, on the same journey, okay? So don't be scared. Because once you're like hanging out with the rest of us like us, in the humanitarian way, from the South Node, then you're like one of us anyway, okay? No judgment, okay? If you're scared of that, it's understandable. It's totally understandable. It's profound, profound fear of transformation, of growth, of evolution, okay? Understandable. You're facing into the unknown. And on the journey of evolving, it means having to be very, very vividly and juicily and creatively, in a very leonine way, very dramatically opening the heart to love, pure, pure love, and because that is the ultimate essence of intimacy anyway. But it's just very, very frightening. If you're not used to it, or you think it's something else, when you actually go into the process of encountering love for what it really is, it can be absolutely terrifying, okay? But once you get just the tiniest taste for it, oh my God, dear Capricorn, it doesn't matter about all of this other stuff from the past that you thought was amazing, because the energy of love trumps everything. There is nothing more satisfying. So how are you going to deal with the terror of evolution? You're gonna carry it all. You're gonna handle it, and it's okay. You're gonna be fine. It's just a question of letting go and putting down everything that you thought was real and tangible, according to your spiritual beliefs, your humanitarian understandings, and what you thought was real and what you held on to so tightly. It becomes a burden, and so eventually you just literally have to put it down. Now, it's an evolutionary journey. You are utterly addicted to this, okay? And it's understandable, because it's worked and it's worked and it's worked in the past, but it is now redundant because it's become burdensome. And so this evolutionary journey isn't going to happen like in one step. It's a journey like the rest of us on the bus. So the way to handle this is to take one wand at a time and set it down very, very gently, and bless it and let your addictions go to this wand. I love you so much, but I have to let you go. I love this one so much, I have to let this one go. I love that one so much. I love this. I'm so deliciously addicted to this stuff, but it's too much. I have to let it go, because there's something much more for me up ahead. Okay? In the world of deep shared intimacy, and you're going to really enjoy it. And once you've lived through it and you start getting better tastes of it, you're going to tell everyone else on the bus what it's like. And we can't wait to hear your stories. All right, Capricorn? Thank you so much. I hope this makes sense. Have a good trip.